There's this a film, Rose, and I went and watched it, and one of the trans characters, when anybody will say anything, she will say, you know what, I see you and I hear you. And somebody says, you're always saying I see you and I hear you. And she says, because if I let out the rage inside of me, it will consume this entire room. In your own case, in your books, in your interviews, in your conversation, you seem to have transformed your rage into empathy. Or the shame that you came out of. How did you do that? Was it therapy? Was it prayer? Oh, God. How do you, because I don't like rage generally. I understand it. But people who have managed to convert it into a gentler, more beautiful emotion, I think that's a thing of beauty to see. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, like you said, therapy. Like after I finished this book, especially after I finished this book, I was like, actually, I think I need to start therapy because I remember telling my writer friends, I was like, writing actually does help a lot in terms of like dealing with things, but therapy is better.
Writing helps, but therapy is better. Yeah. That should be a sticker.
But I remember writing like Mother's Love, and I had written Mother's Love around the period when I had just traveled for my master's, and I had come out before traveling, right? And so there were all these like unresolved emotions, unresolved things that were going on, and like I remember just writing, like I would write sections of that story. I remember being in my room, and it was winter in Iowa, and like in my tiny room like this, and I remember just like writing, and at some point I just burst out crying, and it was like just a very like huge thing, you know what I mean? Like it's, and I think for me part of that like rage, sort of like marries with sadness, right? Because the rage comes not necessarily from seeing what like the people around me have done to me and the people like me, you know what I mean? But in seeing the ways in which they are capable of being better and the ways that they are failing to be better. Because I look around like and I'm like, we're quite like wonderful people. We are so, we're so joyful. We're so, like there's all these wonderful qualities and like, people you love to spend time with. To be more specific, like for a very long time, like all my life I've been a choir boy, right? And a lot of my relationships, part of my identity also comes from that, right? Anglican choirs, and like my friends are from there. And so like there's this sense of community, that I have, and like there's a love that forms from that, right? And then being told all your life that you're a crime or you're a sin, your existence. And of course, you're fighting that. Like, I remember when I was still a teenager, like in my early teens, I would like a boy or write love letters, but I was still going to be like, God, why am I in love with this boy? Please change me, Lord Jesus. And like putting yourself through unnecessary guilt and unnecessary shame. Yes. And so when I had come out of all that, there was like a lot of rage. There was a lot of rage, but there was also sadness in that like, I couldn't quite stay angry at a lot of the people, like a lot of, because I would look at them and see the ways in which they were better in other corners of their lives. Yes. And I'm like, why can't you be better in this area? Why can't you like just sit down and open your mind? Because my biggest frustration was that like, there are people who needed to get like new information. Like I'm like, these people are not necessarily bad people. But they have been told a lot of rubbish in churches, and they are holding up to that rubbish, and they're like, no, we're not going to even listen to this new information. Yes. So the door is already closed and so that for me was really a source of like sadness, and I think like instead of writing these stories, it was like a way of sort of like pushing
dealing with those complex emotions.
Yeah.